So part 2 is why do I need a blog, especially if I already have a Facebook page.
Uh-oh.
Do you want to start, Rosemary?
Sure. The difference between a Facebook page and a blog, as you already know, there were similarities that Mary already pointed out from our last part. But the difference is with a WordPress or any other type of an exclusive blog, you can post a lot of your own content. You can realign your own layout, and you can really brand it the way that you want and feels organic to you as a musician or as your own creative professional. Whereas with Facebook, it's always going to have that Facebook branding to it.
Yeah, that's right. There's very little customization you can do on Facebook, and you're extremely limited to what Facebook will allow you to do. Another downside to thinking of your Facebook page as your blog or as equivalent to your blog is that the search engines do not categorize each post as a separate entity. They only count your page, and even then sometimes they don't do that. So it really does not help you from an SEO perspective. It really doesn't help people find you to keep your content kind of hidden away on your Facebook page, because it's not a very good social discovery. Would be a good way of putting that. It's not a very good social discovery area.
Can you define social discovery?
Yeah, social discovery would be if somebody was looking around, or doing a random search or doing a search that was similar to your content, and they stumbled across what you have. Facebook was not built to do that very well. Facebook is a referral network, meaning that you find stuff that your friends found or that you went and looked for specifically. So social discovery I would define a little bit more as more accidental, more of a surprise, and Facebook doesn't do that very well. Whereas if you did a Google search and you were just looking for things within a certain topic, for instance, music blogging or something like that, you would be much more likely to find a blog than you would a Facebook page.
May I also add that another huge benefit of having a blog on your own territory is that if you decide to expand your blog into a website, you can have a portion of your blog that's a website, and then other parts that are static. And when someone lands on your blog with your own content and your own branding, then they can start to browse and find out like your albums that are out and more of the shows that you have. And really, the fighting for their attention is really limited to what you have to offer. Whereas when they're on a Facebook page, then you're fighting for the attention with all of their other peers and all the ads and the banner ads and everything else. So having your own posted content really helps focus their attention on your material.
And so to just say why you need a blog at all, another huge reason for having a blog, it's very similar to the reason why you should have a blog instead of a Facebook page, but it's also a huge reason just to have a blog at all, is that it keeps your website fresh. Because each page, each new blog post that you create is another page that the search engines can find and place. Basically, it creates a whole new door into your website every time you create a new page or a new post. And most websites they're so static that they can't do that. A lot of musicians' websites, they have maybe 5 pages. And that's not a lot, whereas a blog can have hundreds and hundreds of pages. So it's just new doors for people to come into your website too. and it's a huge benefit to have people constantly coming to your site, rather than just having it sit there until you refer somebody to it.
Speaking on referrals, actually, blogging is a great way to let your material be shared easily. Folks don't usually like to share paid content as well. It just kind of feels sleazy, and you know, people can feel like, oh, I'm just selling for that person. Whereas when you're providing free, completely free content, then they can feel totally comfortable sharing this, like, hey, oh, this is a really sweet video, or this is a really sweet article that I think you might find interesting. And they might even share that to their entire Twitter following, you know, whereas they might be much less likely to do that for, you know, something that you're paying, like an album or something.
So, Mary, you wanted to talk about journalists and others being able to find important information?
Right. Speaking about it from a journalist point of view, when I'm trying to find someone to write about, or if I go to your concert and I think you've done a really wonderful job, but I want to know more about you first before I'm going to do an article about you, I will first of all try to find you on the internet, try to find your blog, so that I can look at the biographical information about you, your training, your expertise, if you've won awards, if you have what kind of teachers you've had, and what, just kind of who you are. So if you only have a Facebook page, try searching on your Facebook page for your own name and see how many similar names come up that are like yours. And imagine that I'm trying to find you to know if I want to write about you. And there are 6 other people or 12 other people with similar names, and some of them only have their picture, or not even a picture, and something like male for their identity. How do I know how to contact you? Is that you, or is that somebody else? So it's really important to me that you have good information on the internet, so I can also ask who you are and start asking you intelligent questions. I don't want to ask you questions that are already public knowledge, that are already out there somewhere, but I can't find them. If everybody else knows who you are, but I don't because I can't find you, then I look kind of stupid, and I'm not going to be as enthusiastic about interviewing you. And the same is very true if you never update your website or your Facebook page or your blog or whatever. And the first thing that I look at is the date of things. If I find you on the internet and I see that the last post that you have was a concert from 2007, that's pretty worthless to me. And it doesn't say much about, it doesn't impress me, because I don't know what's happened to you, you know. Have you stopped performing? All kinds of possibilities come up. So that's why I think it's really important to understand that I want to work for you. I want to give you free publicity, and I want it to be really good information that my readers will say, oh, wow, that's really cool. I didn't know that. Hey, that sounds good. We ought to go to a concert or a performance by this person. And I can't do that if you won't help me. End of sermon.
Yeah. It really does make it seem like you don't care. You really need to be on top of and in charge of who you are online, because either other people will do it for you, and they may not do it how you like it, or nobody will, and it'll just make it seem like you don't care, which is not the impression that you usually want to give. So it is very worth the effort to update your online presence even a little bit. And a blog is a great way to do that.